The Rodriguez Show.
And we are back on The Rodriguez Show. And we have a special guest for this episode. He's here. He is putting on the Happiness of Pursuit Festival happening tomorrow, October 1st. This is 60 East. What's up, man?
What's good? What's good? What's going on?
Hey, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hey, and they can follow you on Instagram at 60 East 909, and they can follow the festival at THOP Fest. That's THOP Fest on Instagram, and it's happening tomorrow. Tickets are still available, right?
Yep.
All right, and so you have a lot of great people on this lineup. So do you want to talk about some of the people you got?
Yeah, from the top, representing TDE, Top Dog Entertainment, along with, Kendrick, Schoolboy Q, all them. We got Reason, one of the younger acts on the label, but
he's
just
been
played
making one of his tracks.
Oh,
dope.
Track. Yeah, he's been making some major noise. I'm a big fan of dude. Legendary hip hop group, The Far Side, is going to be celebrating their 30-year anniversary of their Bizarre Ride album, which is crazy, you know what I mean? Just growing up a hip hop head and just being like, yo, this group. I've listened to this music since I was
times.
So I was born and then that album came out a year or two later. So Sugar Free, same thing, man. Legendary hip hop West Coast OG right there. Sci-Hi the Prince, he, a little newer into the game, but his impact is just phenomenal from his freestyles with LA Leakers and everything he's done for Kanye and all of them. All his song ghostwriting that he's done.
Yeah.
Super excited to have him.
Some of the best bars on Kanye's album.
Probably the best.
I have to say.
Legendary hip hop producer, Ninth Wonder. His whole team, the Soul Council, Crisis Soundtrack, the Mussolini. Locksmith, Open Mike Eagle, Whitney Payton, Murs is going to be hosting, Lush One's going to be hosting, Justin Hunt's going to be hosting. Just, front top to bottom, man. Lineup is stacked.
Amazing. And then Crisis, too, the one that he produced for Jid, right?
Yeah, he just did the Money song on J&D's new album.
Yeah, that shit's fire. So we'll talk more about the festival, but I want to talk to you about you. How did you start making music yourself?
So I grew up just like a hip hop kid, man. Like I actually got into hip hop as a b-boy. One of my older cousins was like, he just came over one day and started breakdancing, and I kind of picked it up quick. And I was just like that kid, like in third grade, breakdancing at recess, and I was just a hip hop kid from there. And then my older brother, he wasn't really coordinated, so he couldn't really dance like that. So he was like, man, I want to, be involved too. Yeah. And I remember one day we were watching Beat Street, the old hip hop movie. And we seen some dudes start scratching a record, and then my brother paused the movie, runs to the garage, starts moving on my mom's stuff, and he's like, yeah, I knew there's a record player, and he just plugs it in, puts a record on, and just starts scratching it, and then he was like, fast forward, he turned into a DJ. He ended up eventually after a couple years getting to high school, he started an independent label because he started producing and DJing. Started producing artists, started an indie label, and I was like, oh, might as well. I guess we're rapping now. So me and my cousin, that we were breakdancing, we started rapping. Yeah. That turned into a little label, and the rest is history.
Wow, yeah. And you said that you you were touring for a while, so you got to meet a lot of great people that now you're featuring in the festival, right?
Yeah, that was really how the festival, like the concept of the festival, I got started that way just from all my years of touring and meeting artists and wanting to invite them to California to perform in front of my audience and the platform that we built out here. Yeah,
that's dope, man. And so how did that feel, before we even talk more about the festival, how did that feel get to that point where you're on tour making money off of it?
It was fun. I mean, that's still my favorite part of doing music. I get to do it a little less now just because I have so many other responsibilities, businesses, daughter, you know what I mean? The festival, which is like my second daughter. But yeah, it's been fun. I've been places that I've never thought I'd be, places no other Americans have been. It's crazy. But dope. It's been fun.
It was a wild ride.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Well, then, so now and something that I read about you, that I learned about you when I was doing research, is like you said, you did this so you could give back to your community in that sense. Like that's what. And so talk a little bit about the meaning of the happiness of pursuit.
Man, it's just really the people that are out here chasing their dreams. Like a lot of people like to glamorize the people at the top. You know what I mean? The people that are your successful billionaires, millionaires, whatever. But feel like we don't acknowledge the blue collar cats, the cats that get up every day and go to work and make a living like that. And the happiness of pursuit is basically that for the people in the creative world that, we're out here chasing our dream, and we may not be millionaires and we may not be rich or whatever, but we're successful and we're able to make a living doing what we love to do. And I mean, finding the happiness in what you love to do is basically the concept of the name.
Yeah, and it's all about like enjoying the process too. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, why look at the mountain when you're like just have fun like what you're doing right now? Like
yeah, a lot of people.
You'll get there.
A lot of my OGs told me they were like, the journey, the getting there is one thing. To quote it in a song, they say getting there is much more fun than getting there. So it's like the journey is what makes the story. You know, once you get there, it's like, oh well, there's nothing to do. I'm rich. I don't really got to work or nothing. But it's like the getting there part of the story, the train stopping or the getting a flat tire on the way to the show and figuring it out, like all that stuff is what makes the story.
Yeah, and it makes you who you are, and it gives you like that kind of like you appreciate it more once you get there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is the fifth anniversary of the festival. You had to take a year off for COVID, like everybody else did. But other than that, like what other challenges have you had in these 5 years?
Jesus, every year I swear is a different challenge. Something else gets thrown to the plate. We've done everything from year one. It was just everything. everything was a challenge. But like MERS had actually brought back the Pay Dues Festival our year one, and it was supposed to take place the same day as our festival. So that was like, wow, we're going head to head with the people that we're like trying to be like, the people that inspired us. And it was like, we got to go head to head with these dudes. Like, this is crazy. That was one thing. I remember year one too. Like, I was somewhere like I wasn't supposed to be, I guess. We ended up getting raided, and my laptop gets confiscated by the police. And like my laptop had all the contracts, all the paperwork, everything that I needed for the festival.
Damn.
And it ended up in police custody
man.
for a couple of months. And I'm like, dude, so I had to get a new laptop, start everything from scratch. Eventually, like I ended up getting my property back and like the charges dropped or whatever. But that was just the challenge that I had to go through. And then the day of challenges, thinking that I could do everything by myself. I learned really quick that I couldn't. And I mean, that's just year one. Every year, like I said, there's
always stuff happening.
Yeah, sets of challenges.
So you've built a pretty good team up to now?
Yeah, the team kind of built itself. Like year one, it was really just me and some close friends. And then I was really trying to do everything myself. And I thought that I could, but I realized quickly when there's, hundreds of people there's just so many different factors that come into play that you just can't do it. And I feel like a lot of the people, one of those people being Noah James, who we just seen, they recognized what I was trying to build and what I was trying to do, and they were like, yo, we see what you're trying to do, like let us help you, like we want to help build what you're trying to build. And so the team kind of formed itself, and we've been fortunate enough to form a nice little squad. There's not a lot of us, but like we're all Spartans, you know what I mean?
And it takes a while to find people that like care about it as much as you. So it's like it's good to have people like that.
Yeah, exactly. I like working with like-minded individuals, people that I'm a hard worker, so I like only working with people that work as hard as I do.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, it's good. And then that's, like I said, it takes a while to find a good team like that. And then you personally, I know that, doing this for 5 years now, it's taken a lot of work. How do you balance, keeping your boundaries and like staying healthy while trying to plan something as big as this?
That was one of the challenges that I had to learn over the years of learning not to stress about it. Like year one, like first couple of years, I just let everything get to me and learned like stressed about it and just drove myself crazy and just had hella anxiety attacks and not being able to sleep and stuff like that, cold sweats. But over the years I've learned to just realize that things are gonna happen. People aren't gonna show up, people are gonna show up late, people are gonna miss their flight, people aren't gonna be able to check into their hotels, and it's just like, all right, it's just being able to just be okay with problems are gonna happen and just take them as they come and just solve them as they come in, you know what I mean? It's just
roll with the punches.
Yeah, instead of stressing like, oh my god, this just happened, and it's like, bro, just calm down, like we'll figure it out.
And so one of the things, obviously, I wanted to ask about the location. Has that always been at Firewater?
Yeah.
So is that like, they just really, I've seen a lot of like, well, this festival especially, but a lot of the events that happen at this place. Like, is it just a dope place, or what is it about that place?
It's a family-owned spot. I'm related to the people that own the spot, so we get hooked up with it, and I'm kind of one of the owners now, so
Okay.
I'm bringing in a lot of the local hip hop events and events in general, just being tapped in with the community as much as I am.
Yeah.
Having this venue now is only right that I open it up to people that are trying to do stuff, because we don't have a lot of stuff in the IE. Like, we don't have a lot of venues that book hip hop and stuff like that. So being able to provide one of those places that's now becoming like a hub. And then, especially because it's where the festival happens. So a lot of the smaller events that happen throughout the year, people are like, oh, we get to perform at the spot where the festival happens. And it all just kind of builds each other up. But
yeah, that's dope. That's how I know it, because it's like always like when I see an event in IE, it's always happening there. So I was like, they're really supporting the local scene.
Yeah, we got to.
Yeah. And how do you feel, what do you feel about that scene there, or even just in Southern California, the hip hop scene around here? The local artists, how do you feel about that?
It's different. It's different wherever you go. The IE, I feel special though, just because I mean, there's a couple of different scenes, but one of like the core scene is something that a lot of the people that are doing stuff out there and the people that have been able to make it out and become national and international artists, we all kind of come from a spot which was created by Noah James, the Common Ground, which was a weekly event that happened for so many years in the IE. That was the first place that I ever performed in Riverside. That was like one of my very first shows. And then getting to cut our teeth there and really hone in our craft and stuff like there. It really gave us like a foundation. It really gave us like that, LA has like Project Blowed, and then Detroit had like the hip hop shop where a lot of people and groups and labels were formed out of. And I feel like that was the Common Ground, was it for the IE. And, so yeah, it's kind of a tight knit community. You know what I mean? Everybody kind of knows each other, but in a good way. Like, people like looking out for each other.
Yeah.
A lot of people work together. A lot of people collaborate and throw events. And we got people coming in from everywhere.
That's dope. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing about the IE. Like, a lot of you guys support each other, and like everybody that we have here always talks about how everybody's supportive out there of each other.
Yeah.
It's a great thing, man. I've been out there to a few events, and they're always fun. So right now we're a few days away. The day of this recording is Tuesday, but it's happening tomorrow. You're hearing this Friday. What do you have left to do now? Like,
Friday terms or Tuesday terms?
Tuesday terms.
All the small stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like, obviously we still got to go, so we have to set up the whole foundation, like the stages and sound and tents and backstage and all that stuff. But like the tedious stuff is like the final email, sending the emails to the press, to the media people that are checking in the vendors, all the little signs that people don't think about, like all the things that we need to print like 100 papers for like security and to guide people around the event and stuff like that. Just really tedious stuff.
Yeah.
And then just all the social media stuff, keeping the socials active, answering people's questions.
Yeah, doing this kind of stuff, promoting it.
Yeah, pushing it, you know what I mean? Obviously keeping up with the tickets as they're coming in, and just getting the last round of promotion in before the weekend hits.
Great, man. Well, if you haven't gotten your ticket, you should. It's happening tomorrow. The Happiness of Pursuit Festival, THOP at Firewater in Ontario, California, and it's happening 12 to 10 p.m. and it's so many great people, man. So what do you see for the future of the festival?
Man, I have two visions. One is my peace. And there be no more festival, and me being peaceful elsewhere, doing whatever else that I'm gonna do next, which is, I think, writing books. The other side is continuing to do the festival and continuing to grow it. This year, I think, is gonna be the year that we blow the roof off of that venue. There's a couple different ways that we can form it or whatever that would give us a little more room and able to fit more people. But I think we're outgrowing that venue. So if I were to go this way, the next thing would probably be getting a bigger venue, getting a bigger budget, and just upping the stakes. Yeah, making it bigger.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing it, man. I don't see why you wouldn't continue to grow it even bigger and bigger. I've always seen the lineups, and it's always been great. And yeah, man, thank you for being here. They can follow you on Instagram at 60east909, and you can see it on the screen. That's 60, the numbers, and then East spelled out, and then 909. And at THOP Fest for information on the festival, the Happiness of Pursuit. And yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Go.
Hey, we'll be back with Noah James on The Rodriguez Show.